Have you ever gotten up 3 or 4 times at night just to pee and then struggled to fall back asleep? That broken sleep, the constant bathroom runs, the tossing and turning, it's not just annoying. It's exhausting. It messes with your energy the next day, and over time, it can drain your spirit. But here's the thing, there's a simple, natural change you can make that can actually help reduce nighttime urination, and it starts with the kind of nuts you eat. Yes, the very same almonds, walnuts, or peanuts you keep in your kitchen cabinet could either be making your bladder worse or giving it the calm it needs to let you rest through the night. In this video, I'll tell you about 5 incredible nuts that can help you prevent nighttime urination and sleep better. And I'll also warn you about 5 common ones that might be making things worse for your bladder without you even realizing it. So here's what you'll get. 5 bladder-friendly nuts that help reduce trips to the toilet, and 5 you should avoid at night if you want deeper, more peaceful sleep. Now, if you're tired of those restless nights, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and help us keep bringing you tips that actually work and support your health in a real way. By the end of this video, you'll not only know which nuts to snack on before bed, but also understand why your bladder reacts the way it does. And more importantly, you'll finally have a small, actionable solution that could change the quality of your nights and your days. Because uninterrupted sleep at your age isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Let's dive right in, and you'll see how simple and powerful this can be. Let's talk about your bladder for a second. Not the most glamorous topic, I know, but if you're over 60, chances are you start to notice it's not quite as patient as it used to be. The constant urge to go, especially at night, is something so many seniors struggle with. But here's what most people don't tell you. What you eat plays a huge role in how your bladder behaves. You might be thinking, nuts? Really? They're healthy. And yes, many of them are. But not all nuts are created equal, especially when it comes to bladder health. Some of them are full of compounds that irritate the bladder lining, increase urine production, or contain high amounts of sodium that throw your whole body balance off. On the other hand, certain nuts are packed with magnesium, healthy fats, and bladder-soothing nutrients that can actually calm those nighttime urges and help you stay asleep longer. So let's start with the 5 best nuts that can actually help your bladder relax at night. First up, pistachios. Not the salted kind you buy at the gas station, but raw or lightly roasted unsalted pistachios. These little green gems are rich in potassium and magnesium, 2 minerals that help regulate fluid balance and muscle function, including the smooth muscles in your bladder. That means fewer spasms and less urgency. Plus, pistachios are naturally lower in fat than some other nuts, which makes them easier on your digestion before bed. A small handful in the evening can do wonders for your bladder and your sleep. Next, we have almonds. Almonds are a powerhouse when it comes to reducing inflammation. They're rich in vitamin E and antioxidants, which help calm the internal irritation that can make your bladder overactive. They also contain fiber and protein, which help slow digestion and keep your blood sugar steady. 2 things that indirectly help prevent nighttime urination spikes caused by insulin shifts. Again, go for raw or dry roasted almonds with no added salt or sugar. Number 3 on our list is macadamia nuts. These rich, buttery nuts might feel like a treat, but they're surprisingly gentle on your system. They're low in oxalates, which are compounds that can irritate the bladder, and they're high in healthy monounsaturated fats that help reduce overall body inflammation. If you often wake up with bladder pressure or urgency, swapping your evening snack for a few macadamia nuts might make a big difference in just a few days. The 4th nut that supports your nighttime peace is Brazil nuts. Just 1 or 2 of these are enough to give your body a solid dose of selenium, a trace mineral that supports hormonal balance and has a calming effect on the bladder. They also have natural anti-inflammatory properties, which means less swelling, less bladder sensitivity, and a more relaxed urinary system at night. But don't overdo it. Just 2 Brazil nuts a day are enough. More than that, and the selenium can actually build up too much in your system. And finally, the fifth nut to add to your nighttime routine is chestnuts. Unlike most other nuts, chestnuts are lower in fat and higher in complex carbs, which means they give you a slow release of energy without overstimulating your bladder or digestive system. They're also packed with vitamin C and folate, which support blood flow and nerve function, key factors in bladder control. Chestnuts can be roasted, mashed, or even made into a light soup before bed. They're not just festive, they're functional. Now, before you go reaching into that snack drawer, hold on. There are some nuts you need to be careful with because they can do the opposite. They can irritate your bladder lining, pull more fluid into your urine, or trigger unwanted nighttime activity in your kidneys. So let's talk about the 5 nuts you should be avoiding, especially in the evening. First on the avoid list is peanuts. Yes, they're technically legumes, but most people treat them like nuts. Peanuts, especially salted or roasted ones, are high in sodium and contain compounds that can inflame the bladder lining. They also often contain additives or are processed in oils that increase irritation. If you're eating a peanut butter sandwich late at night, thinking it's harmless, you might be unknowingly setting yourself up for 3 bathroom visits after midnight. Next is cashews. They taste great, but they're high in oxalates, which can irritate the bladder and increase the urge to urinate. Cashews also have a high fat content, which can slow digestion and create pressure around the bladder in some people, making it harder to get comfortable enough to sleep through the night. Third, walnuts. Now, this might surprise you because walnuts are often touted for their heart health benefits. And yes, they're great in many ways. But when it comes to bladder health, they can be a problem. Walnuts are acidic, and for sensitive bladders, that acidity can trigger spasms or urgency. If you've ever noticed a night when you ate a walnut-rich salad or snack and had poor sleep, it might not be a coincidence. Number 4 on the avoid list, pecans. Pecans are delicious, especially in pies and sweet snacks, but they're often paired with sugar and heavy fats. Even on their own, they can be rich and oily, which doesn't sit well in the stomach before bed. That heaviness can put pressure on your abdomen and bladder while you try to rest, causing more nighttime awakenings. And finally, number 5, pine nuts. They're tiny and often seem harmless, but pine nuts can be surprisingly irritating to the urinary tract in some people. They also contain phenolenic acid, which can stimulate the kidneys and increase urine production. Not what you want when you're trying to sleep peacefully. Now that we've gone through the helpful and harmful nuts, let's put this into action. If you're struggling with nighttime urination, try this simple plan. 2 hours before bed, avoid all food and drink, especially anything containing caffeine or sugar. But if you feel the need for a small snack, stick to one of the 5 supportive nuts. Just a handful is enough. Keep a journal for 1 week and note how often you wake up, how you feel the next morning, and what nuts you've eaten. You'll likely start to see a pattern. And don't underestimate how powerful small shifts like this can be. Your body wants to heal. It wants to sleep. Sometimes you just need to give it the right tools. And remember, there's no one-size-fits-all. Some people might do better with almonds, others with chestnuts. What matters is that you pay attention to your body, respect what it's telling you, and stay consistent. No supplement or miracle cure can replace your own awareness. And when you start treating food as medicine, even something as small as nuts, your health begins to change in real, sustainable ways. That as we wrap up, just know this. Your sleep matters. Your energy matters. You've spent your life taking care of others, building your world, working hard. Now is your time to rest deeply, feel good in your own body, and wake up refreshed. Not because of a pill or a prescription, but because of something as simple and natural as choosing the right snack. Let that be your quiet revolution. Let peace come to you one night at a time. Now, let's take a closer look at what actually happens inside your body when you consume reheated food that's gone toxic without you realizing it. When you put that plate in the microwave and press start, the heat doesn't distribute evenly. That means parts of the food may be scalding hot while other parts stay lukewarm, especially with dense or thick items like chicken or mashed potatoes. This inconsistency creates a perfect environment for bacteria to survive and even multiply. And once those bacteria enter your system, they don't just pass through. They cling to your gut lining, they interfere with your nutrient absorption, and they send inflammatory signals throughout your body. For older adults already dealing with slower digestion or pre-existing health conditions, this isn't just discomfort. It's a silent trigger that can cascade into fatigue, memory issues, joint pain, or more serious illnesses that seem to come out of nowhere. Worse still, certain toxins created during the reheating process can bypass the digestive system altogether and go straight into your bloodstream. This can affect your liver, your kidneys, and especially your brain. Think about that next time you grab a plastic container of last week's leftovers and throw it in the microwave without a second thought. And speaking of plastic, if you're reheating in plastic containers, the risk is even higher. Plastic, when heated, can release chemicals like BPA and phthalates into your food, which act like fake hormones inside your body. These chemicals don't leave easily. They build up over time and have been linked to everything from thyroid problems to hormone imbalance, weight gain, even cognitive decline. It's a hidden danger most people never consider. Seniors are especially vulnerable because hormonal balance is already delicate, and any added disruption can create real health consequences. The big problem here is that convenience has overtaken caution. In earlier generations, food was cooked fresh. Leftovers were eaten cold or reheated gently on the stove. People didn't rely on microwaves or plastic tubs for every meal. But today, time is short, and the microwave feels like a lifesaver. Still, that quick fix could be cutting months or even years off your life if you're not careful. You might feel fine today, but repeated exposure to reheated toxins and plastic chemicals chips away at your health gradually, like a leak in a dam you don't notice until it bursts. It starts with small things. Maybe you're more tired than usual, maybe your joints ache more after meals, or you can't remember where you left your keys again. You blame age. But what if it's your food? Many seniors complain of digestion issues, memory lapses, mood swings, or insomnia without realizing their diet might be the culprit. And it's not just about what you eat, but how you eat it. Reheating food changes its structure. Nutrients degrade. Proteins denature. Fats oxidize. And those oxidized fats? They're one of the most dangerous things you can put in your body. They've been directly linked to arterial plaque, heart disease, and accelerated aging of cells. And when your arteries are inflamed, your brain doesn't get enough oxygen. That foggy feeling, that forgetfulness, that mental fatigue that creeps in after certain meals, it's all connected. But here's the hopeful part. You can start making better choices today. You don't need to throw away your microwave or stop eating your favorite meals. Just shift how you approach leftovers. Use glass containers instead of plastic. Reheat on the stove at low, even heat. Better yet, prepare smaller portions so there are fewer leftovers to begin with. And if you do have extra food, don't keep it in the fridge for days on end. Aim to consume leftovers within 24 hours, especially when it comes to animal proteins and starchy foods like rice and potatoes. If something smells even slightly off or looks dry and crusty, throw it out. Don't second guess it. Your health is worth more than a few save bites. Also, start paying attention to how your body reacts after certain meals. Keep a little journal if you need to. Did you feel bloated or tired after reheated spinach soup? Did you get a headache after microwaving leftover chicken? These little clues matter. Your body is constantly talking to you. Most people just aren't listening. The older you get, the more critical it becomes to tune in. The resilience we have in our 30s or 40s fades with age. Your body isn't bouncing back as quickly. So the food choices that seemed harmless a decade ago can now create real damage. And the worst part is, it's all preventable. Now think about your kitchen habits. How often are you storing leftovers in plastic wrap or containers that weren't designed for heat? How many times have you microwaved that same bowl of soup 2 or 3 times in a row? Each round of reheating destroys more nutrients and creates more harmful byproducts. Vitamins like C, B12, and folate are especially vulnerable. These nutrients are vital for immunity, energy, and brain function, things older adults desperately need to preserve. When you eat reheated food that's been stripped of these vitamins, it's like filling your tank with dirty fuel. Your body tries to keep going, but it struggles. That's when you start feeling older than your age. That's when you start needing more medication, more rest, more checkups. You don't need to live in fear of food, but you do need to start living with awareness. Because so many symptoms that seniors accept as just getting old are actually reversible. When you stop reheating these harmful foods, when you switch to fresher, safer meals, you'll notice a change. Maybe you'll sleep better. Maybe you'll think clearer. Maybe your digestion will settle down and your energy will pick up. Small changes create huge results over time. Even one choice, like deciding to eat your leftover spinach cold instead of reheated, can prevent unnecessary strain on your organs. Your future health is not some mystery that's out of your hands. It's in your plate, your fridge, your microwave, and your decisions. So be kind to yourself. Cook fresh when you can. Reheat wisely when you must. Ditch the plastic, slow the heat, and give your body what it truly needs: clean, nutrient-rich, safely prepared meals. You've come this far in life, and you deserve every chance to feel your best in the years ahead. It's not about perfection. It's about awareness. And once you have it, you'll never look at your leftovers the same way again. If you've ever wondered why some nights are worse than others, even though you didn't change much during the day, here's something important to consider. Your body reacts to patterns more than you realize. And when those patterns involve certain trigger foods, especially in the evening, it quietly builds up tension in your system. This tension doesn't always show up as pain. It shows up as restlessness, shallow sleep, and that annoying need to get up just when you've finally gotten comfortable. That's why it's not just about the type of nuts you eat, but also when and how often you eat them. The good ones, like pistachios or almonds, work best when your body gets used to them consistently over time. You don't need to eat a different nut every night. In fact, too much variety too fast can actually confuse your digestive system and increase the chances of a reaction. Pick one that works for you, stick to it for several days, and watch what happens. What often gets ignored is the role of inflammation in bladder behavior. A slightly inflamed bladder is like a slightly sunburned shoulder. It doesn't take much to set it off. That's why calming the body overall is so important. The anti-inflammatory properties of magnesium-rich nuts aren't just for joints or muscles. They help settle the entire nervous system. When your nervous system relaxes, your bladder follows suit. That means fewer signals being sent to the brain in the middle of the night that say, "Wake up, it's time to go." And trust me, it's not just about fluids. You could stop drinking water after 6 p.m., and if your nervous system is still agitated from the wrong foods or stress, you'll still wake up. Food is a powerful signal, much stronger than we give it credit for. That's why the kind of snack you choose before bed isn't a minor thing. It sets the stage for what kind of night you're about to have. Here's a little trick many people overlook: pairing your nighttime nut snack with a calming routine. It sounds unrelated, but the body craves rhythm. When you combine a handful of bladder-friendly nuts with 5 minutes of deep breathing, soft music, or even a warm foot soak, your body starts to associate that combo with safety and stillness. That's what reduces urgency, not just physically, but mentally. Because let's face it, sometimes we're not even fully aware of the stress we carry in a bed. And stress is one of the biggest hidden triggers of nighttime urination. The bladder and brain are in constant communication. A stressed brain keeps a vigilant bladder. A relaxed mind sends a signal that everything's okay. You're safe, you can rest. And that's when deep sleep happens, the kind you haven't felt in years. That it's also worth mentioning that a lot of people think they're hydrating properly during the day, but the timing is all wrong. Chugging water in the evening because you forgot to hydrate during the morning is a guaranteed way to disrupt your night. Even if you eat all the right nuts, if your bladder is overfilled late in the evening, you're setting yourself up for failure. The better approach is to front load your fluids. Drink more in the first half of the day, taper off after lunch, and let your body adjust. This way, the nuts you eat at night aren't being drowned in extra fluid, and they can actually help your system settle without being pushed into overdrive. Now let's circle back to the nuts you should avoid again. Not to repeat, but to expand. Because it's not always the nut itself that's the problem. It's the form in which you eat it. Even a healthy nut can become harmful if it's been fried, sugared, coated in preservatives, or mixed with irritating ingredients like chili powder or vinegar. For example, someone might say, walnuts make me pee all night, but if those walnuts were candied, salted, or sitting in a mix with raisins and dried cranberries, the sugar and acids in those extras might be the real issue. Always check your labels. Always go for simple, clean, raw or lightly roasted nuts with no additives. The fewer the ingredients, the better your body can process it. And for seniors, digestion slows down naturally with age, which makes this even more important. Your body isn't filtering out all those preservatives like it used to. Give it less to work with, and it will thank you. Another trick that people don't talk about enough is soaking nuts before eating them. Yes, soaking. It sounds old-fashioned, maybe even unnecessary, but it can change everything. Soaking raw nuts in water for 6 to 8 hours helps remove natural compounds called phytic acids and tannins that can irritate the digestive system and, in some sensitive people, even contribute to bladder irritation. Plus, soaked nuts are softer, easier to chew, and easier to digest, which means your system doesn't have to work overtime processing them when it should be winding down for rest. If you've been struggling with bloat or gas at night after your nut snack, soaking might just be the simple solution you didn't know you needed. Let's also talk about portion. It's so tempting to overeat nuts because they're small, crunchy, and satisfying. But more isn't better. Eating a full cup of nuts before bed is just asking for trouble, no matter how healthy they are. That's too much fat, too much bulk, and your stomach will be too busy working all night. You want to aim for a closed handful, enough to feel satisfied, not stuffed. Especially at night, when your body is preparing to rest and repair, not digest and process. Now, if you're dealing with other conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure, you need to be extra mindful. Certain nuts, like salted peanuts or honey-roasted varieties, are filled with hidden sodium and sugars that spike your blood pressure or blood sugar just when your body is trying to stabilize. And when your sugar or pressure is off, your kidneys work overtime. They filter more, produce more urine, and guess what? That means more trips to the bathroom. Always choose your nighttime snack as if it's medicine, because for seniors, it really is. There's also this myth that because nuts are calorie dense, they're bad at night. But actually, for older adults who aren't eating big dinners or who tend to wake up hungry, a small portion of the right nuts can keep blood sugar stable through the night, prevent early morning dips in energy, and reduce stress hormones like cortisol. Cortisol spikes can wake you up at 3 a.m., even if your bladder doesn't. When your body doesn't feel secure in its fuel supply, it panics and wakes you up. A slow-burning fat source like macadamia or almond can gently hold your body in a calm, nourished state all night. That if you're someone who's tried everything, cutting out fluids, going to the bathroom twice before bed, even wearing adult protection just in case, don't lose hope. The body is always trying to heal, but it needs consistent signals. A nightly ritual that includes a safe, calming snack, low stress, and mindful hydration can turn things around within weeks. I've seen people go from waking up 5 times a night to sleeping through with no interruptions, just from changing their nighttime eating habits. And remember, don't be discouraged if it takes a little time. Your bladder didn't become sensitive overnight. It's likely been dealing with years of stress, aging muscles, shifting hormones, and food triggers. But every night you give it what it needs, you're helping it recover. Every choice you make builds on the last. Healing isn't about giant leaps, it's about steady, loving steps. And when you wake up one morning realizing you didn't get up once, that deep rest will feel like the best gift you've given yourself in a long time. Stick with it. Keep choosing foods that love your body back. Keep listening to how your system responds. And always give yourself grace. Because this stage of life should be filled with peace, dignity, and good sleep. And believe it or not, something as small as the right nut at the right time can help get you there.